in 2022. So this is what I am going to be doing inside of my businesses, where I'm focused, what I'm less focused on, things that you can be implementing into your own strategies. And the first thing we need to talk about is that each account is going to be a little bit different. So remember, you are focused on your plan for your abilities, also for your audience, when your audience is going to be available, what they want to see, how frequently they want to see from you, and what types of content they want to consume. What I am doing is for me, and actually works for all of my different accounts because I have similar audiences. They're not the same audiences, but they have similar mannerisms and ways of interacting with content. So this is going to be a good overall view for most people, but you have to adapt this for what works for you and more specifically for your audience. So if you've got questions on this as we go ahead and drop those down below. But the first thing that I'm going to be focused on when it comes to the first quarter in Instagram of 2022 is a much heavier focus on Reels. Now, this is something we've been doing for a good long time on Instagram, and it's because they have flat out said video is going to be a higher production value for us, or it's going to be, better to spend our time on this. They are not by any means taking away photos or albums or any of those other things, and we talk all about those in other videos. They're linked on the page, you know the drill. But Reels are incredibly important because we are on the rise for short form video content with TikTok, with Instagram Reels, and with YouTube Shorts. This is going to be really, really important because people like that short form content that they can consume something in a very short amount of time and keep on scrolling. So I am putting an even heavier focus on Instagram Reels inside of what I am doing. So the majority of the content I'm posting on Instagram is going to be in the form of Reels. That does not mean I am not doing photos. I am. Doesn't mean I'm not doing albums. I am. I am focused on all the areas of Instagram, including longer form video content, but I want to make sure I'm really heavily focused on Reels. So more of my content, if you're looking through my grids, is going to be video because that's what people in general are consuming right now. And the interesting thing is that what we're finding is that Reels is a little bit different than TikTok. You're going to see things that perform well on both, but you're going to notice that TikTok tends to be a little more raw, a little more in the moment, a little less curated, while Instagram still has that higher production value. So they're looking for things that still look a little more curated, a little more intentional, a little more produced. It's more of that dream level, the Pinterest level than it is in the moment like TikTok. Now, that is not to say that the similar content isn't going to work on both platforms. It is. I am just keeping in mind that there's a different audience and a different way that they respond to content on social media, and it's a little bit different. So you're actually going to start to see me do some of the same things on TikTok and on Reels, but you're going to see me diversifying a little bit, and you're going to see a little more in the moment raw, like filmed as I'm going kind of things on TikTok, whereas with Instagram, I am going to put a little more effort into it. I am going to make it a little more curated, and I'm going to be focused a little bit more on music. So if you've heard me talk about my TikTok success, I do exceptionally well when I speak on camera. When I do music or lip sync or dancing or whatever, that doesn't perform as well for me. People like to hear my words. They like to hear what I'm saying and thinking and doing. And I can see this drastic difference in between the types of content that I create on TikTok. Similarly, I am seeing this on Instagram as well in the opposite direction. So for this, I'm actually going to lean a little bit more into producing these little mini music videos is kind of what I'm calling them. And if you've watched any of my channels, and you guys know I have 4 of them active and like daily engaged right now, you know that I am starting to do like day in the life, or I'm kind of taking them through the process. In fact, right before we went live, I actually filmed a video that's going to go out on the KM Robinson social Instagram page in a few minutes. It's taking you behind the scenes of this live stream. So I set it to music. I lip sync a little bit, but mostly it's just showing different shots to different parts of the music, and I'm taking them through my day. So we're going more along the lines of those lip syncs. You can do dancing if you want. You absolutely do not have to. Dancing tends to go more toward TikTok, but like the curated version, we want kind of like these mini music videos, and we want it a little more curated on Instagram. So I'm going to be swaying what I'm doing slightly to the more curated side, while TikTok is slightly more toward the raw side. Now, I said that I am going to be focused on areas other than that short form vertical content with Reels. I am going to be doing some long form videos. And for me, I'm going to be posting these about 1 to 3 times per week. This is whatever you have the ability to produce content wise. So you could do 1 per week. I would recommend doing 1 per week. If you can do more, great. but we don't want to burn out our audience. Remember, they're very focused on the short form videos. So any longer form videos you're putting on Instagram has to have that value that's going to hook them in from the beginning and keep them there so that they are not going to be straying away from your video. If we have longer videos, it has to keep their attention, and it has to be value packed, and it has to be something that is going to keep them there for 1, 2, 3, 10 minutes. Keep it as short as humanly possible. Say what you need to say and then get out of that video. But I am going to be posting videos about 1 to 3 times per week on every single one of my platforms. And again, I'm operating heavily 4 of them right now. And those are going to be educational, entertaining, behind the scenes. It's going to be story times, things that I can't necessarily fit into something smaller, but it has to be so dang good that it holds them the entire time. So I'm going to be looking about 1 to 3 times per week for those longer form content. And I'm aiming for around 2 to maybe 5 minutes for those. Sometimes it'll go a little bit longer if I've got a lot to say or a lot to educate on, but I'm aiming for the lower end of it. So it's long form, but it's long form for Instagram, not necessarily long form for something like YouTube. Now, moving forward from that, I also recognize that stories are going to be incredibly important. We know that all the social platforms right now are leaning in toward disappearing content. We really like the idea of being able to film something right this second, drop it right this second, and then have to watch it right now because it's going to disappear within 24 hours. That's less pressure on the creator because we can talk in the moment to people. We can talk about what's going on right now, knowing that it's going to disappear, but it also puts that little pressure point on our viewers. If they want to be a part of our lives, if they want to see what we're doing, they're going to have to, within 24 hours of us posting it, watch it, or they're going to lose access to it. Unlike the other types of posts, which they can come back to later and then forget about. So you want to make sure that you are leaning heavily into creating stories because we already know things like TikTok are testing this right now. This is going to grow. Not only is it going to grow on Instagram, but it's going to grow in other platforms as well. So I am going to be posting 6+ times per day on each of my platforms, and I'm just spreading those out throughout the day. So a little bit in the morning, then I'm going to be doing some in the afternoon, in the evening. I'm going to go kind of throughout my day, and I'm treating this like behind the scenes of my business. So things that I'm thinking right now, hot takes for right now, or what I'm doing in my business right now that people might be interested in. These are not boring things. It's not like, here's my lunch and here's my dinner and here's my cat. It's stuff that's going to be relevant to them and keep them coming back for more, but it gives them a little bit of a hint into my life and my personal life. And kind of, I'm taking my curated content and I'm putting it in my main feed. I'm taking my personal content and putting it in the disappearing content of stories so that people can get to know me if they want, but it's not going to, be the thing that they're looking at as they're learning about my business and growing into that. But on a very related note, with my stories, I am going with a face-first strategy, and we have been talking about this for a good long time. The very first thing that you do every single day on your social should be a story of your face. This is to develop trust. It's so that they recognize you. We don't want like extra things there. We don't want text posts. They're not going to stick around for that. You have to make sure that you're showing yourself with that, and we did give some really good strategies on the Instagram pages. Go watch Social Media for Bosses and go watch KM Robinson Social, because I'm giving you content ideas and I'm giving you social media strategy and tips and tricks and algorithm stuff on one and the content on the other. And I have actually told you a strategy for doing face first if you're not ready, if you're not camera ready, first thing in the morning, 6, 7, 8 a.m., you have the ability to create a boomerang beforehand. So like right now that I am like camera ready, I would grab my phone, I'd film a couple boomerangs, I would save them to my phone, and then I'd use them over the next couple of days if it's early morning and I don't have my makeup or hair or my wardrobe ready to be on camera, but I need to reach out to people. So there's some really cool tricks to getting around that one as well. But I always go with that face first strategy so that it starts to build that trust and they can see me and they think about me throughout the course of the day and they're going to check back for the rest of the things. It's best if you can talk to them, but it doesn't really matter as long as they're seeing your face. So go ahead and use those boomerangs, whatever you have to, put your text on top of it, and you're good to go with that. Now, with all this in mind, you have to make sure that you are posting within the acceptable range of what people want to see. So this is going to be different for each and every platform. You and your different accounts will be different. So how often do your people want to hear from you? Do they want to see 1 post per day? Do they want to see 7 posts per day? It really depends on your individual audiences and what you're doing to engage with them in terms of entertainment or education or whatever it happens to be. So this is something you're going to need to test, but keep in mind, more content means more eyes on you. So even if the algorithm is not necessarily showing you to a ton of people, if you get 200 views on an Instagram reel, that's 200 views. Even if you used to get 7,000 views, you're still getting 200 eyes on that particular piece of content. Now, if you're dropping 2 reels per day and you're getting 200 each, that's 400 eyes. I understand it's more content, but it's still more eyes as well. So with that, you want to make sure you are putting out as much content as you are physically capable of creating, and so that you don't burn out your audience. So don't do too much. If it's too much for them, they're going to start not responding to it, and that'll be a problem for you. But if you can do 2 pieces of content per day, yay you. If you can do 7 pieces of content per day, yay you. If you can do 20 pieces of content per day, that's a lot. You might be burning people out, but if your audience receives it, go for it. You want to do what you can possibly do to get more eyes on you. So the more frequent and the more consistently you are putting out content, the larger and faster you are going to grow. So keep in mind, consistency is key here. That is the most important thing. But the more you can reach out to them, the more you can start conversation, the more you can engage and form community and conversation within that community, the better you're going to do. So you can put out 1 video per day and grow steadily, or you can put out 2 videos per day and grow steadily but faster. It really just comes down to what works best for your audience and for you. But keeping in mind that posting times are really important now. Why is that? Well, this has always been true of the Instagram platform. We know with Instagram, they used to be chronological, and then they went to a ranked system, and they have recently announced that they're going back to giving the option to the viewers on if they want ranked or if they want that chronological feed. Now, within this, we know that the algorithm first shows our audience, our subscribers, our followers, our content first. And based on what they do, then they decide to show people who don't know us. So we will produce a piece of content and post it to Instagram. Instagram's algorithm then takes that content and drops it in front of a number of our already subscribed followers. And based on what they do, if they comment, share, like, interact in some way, it then says, oh, this is probably some good content. If a lot of people are engaging with this, let's show it to a new audience that hasn't met them yet. But if your audience that already says, yes, I want to see more from this creator, doesn't do anything with your content, they see it and they just keep scrolling, that tells the algorithm that's probably not great content. If their followers don't even care about it, we're not going to show it to other people. So your posting times are going to be important because they show it to your followers. And if your followers are not around, it's going to be slower engagement. Or if the right kind of followers are not around, it's going to be slower engagement, which then hinders the rest of the life of that piece of content. So you need to be aware of when your audience is around. Before the kids go to school, on lunch breaks, after the kids go to bed, whatever your audience is, you have to learn their schedules and know when they are hanging out on social media and post right before that time so that they are there and can engage. So learn who your ideal audience is, the ones that actually interact with you, and then make sure you're creating content that is really, really good and valuable and helpful and gets them to engage. So ask those questions, have those calls to action, do something to get them to respond to you in some way or to share it or whatever it is, and you will be able to grow from there. So for me, I'm heavily focused on Instagram Reels. I am paying attention to Instagram stories. I am going to be producing more content because more content means more eyes, means faster growth. I am making sure that I am very face forward with what I am doing, and I am going to be there and active and engaging with people. And I'm going to be posting at times where I know my audience will be around so that they can engage with the content and it then be shown to more people as we are putting those out. If you've got questions or comments on this, go ahead and drop those down below for me on the replay today. This is our weekly live stream. I'm here every single Wednesday at 10 a.m. answering your questions in real time and bringing you helpful strategies, ways to pivot, ways to change what you're doing on social media to level up what you're doing. We're dropping brand new videos every single day on the different social platforms and the platform additions, changes, algorithm changes, all the things that are happening inside of social so you can stay on top of your game and create more profit through your incredibly easy social media content creation. Speaking of which, we've got a number of really great resources dropping in the next couple of weeks, everything from business books on my 5-minute content creation strategy, all the way to live stream action plan and IG Reels for business / TikToks, so that you can just create this content without having to think about it. You can just create it, put it out there, and move on with your life. So I've got a lot of great resources for you, and they are coming soon. And I will keep you posted on how I am changing and pivoting my Instagram my TikTok, my YouTube, my live streaming abilities, and what I am planning and my strategies so that we are working with what the social media platforms give us in the future. If you've got questions, drop them down below, hit the subscribe and notification bell, and I'll see you for the next live stream 1 week from today, same time, same place, and I will see you every single day inside of our videos. P.S. If you haven't tracked the community tab, I'm dropping extra content there because I'm putting things on Instagram and TikTok that I'm not putting here. So you make sure that you get yourself over there and check that out so that you don't miss out on these quick win tips for content creation. So you don't even have to think about what you're creating today. You can just do it based on what I'm telling you over on Instagram and on TikTok. I'll see you there.